Welcome to the Dissonant Echoes podcast. I'm your host, Adrian, joined by Alan.
What's up?
How's it going, man?
It's going grim and frostbitten.
Really?
No, not really. That's
oh,
just, we're going to be talking about black metal later on, and that's, fitting.
yeah, that sounds right. It snowed today, so I guess
Oh, it really did snow for you?
yeah, it did.
Holy shit.
I don't know why. Not bad. It just barely, but it did. It did snow. So
I guess the world is a big place.
yeah, in honor of the snow, I guess we'll talk about the cold forests of black metal.
Yeah, or like, there's people that make black metal in fucking the Bahamas, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, we should try to find those people.
yeah.
I wonder like the most like cheerful place where people are making black metal.
Yeah, Hawaii, like I don't know, like, somewhere like that.
We're gonna go out on a search for that. You think like Finland and like Norway and stuff, they have some of the lowest like murder rates, but then they're like coming up with like vicious black metal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, America, depending on who you ask, has also some of the most vicious black metal.
Yeah.
Some people don't think it's legitimate because we're spoiled rotten over here, apparently. But hey,
Yeah.
that's another conversation for another day.
Yeah.
Anyways, oh man. So this is the Dissonant Echoes podcast. What we do here is anybody's guess, but today we'll start out by talking about what we've been listening to. So, what have you been jamming to lately?
Let's see. I had something for this again. Well, I just been going back to like classic records. I've been listening to Alleluia Don't Bend Ascend by Godspeed You Black Emperor.
Yep.
The opening track, I think it's called Melodic. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but it's so heavy, very crushing. Been jamming that out a lot. And what else have I been listening to? I've been like, I don't know. I've been more passively listening lately. I bought the new Deaf Heaven record, and I haven't spun it yet. I did like that one track you sent me, but I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Oh, that's a great one, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I genuinely think that you're gonna like it, but if you don't, I would be very curious why.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to really sit down. And sometimes, like the Deaf Heaven records, don't really like the initial listen isn't as impactful as when I start like really sitting down and listening.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Sunbather like took me a couple listens before it really like clicked for me, which everybody loved that record. That's obviously that's the one they're most popular for, but like I said, Roasted Judah was much more impactful for me when I heard that one. And even that split they did with, I forget who it was, but they did the cover of Magwa's Punk Rock Cody. I love that track. That is my favorite Deaf Heaven track by a mile. I don't know. It's not even their track, but like,
yeah,
it's so good. Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, Sunbather. I really understand what you're saying there because on first listen, it gives a very strong first impression, but you got to like get past that impression to actually understand kind of the artistry and everything going on there. Like all their records are. I was saying this to Gabe yesterday. How did I put it? I basically said that I'm not going to be able to say it as eloquently as I did, but basically there's layers to them. They're like an onion, and they just have that was the dumbest thing I said. They just have like it's more than meets the eye, right? Even with like Infinite Granite, which is ostensibly kind of like almost like a pop record.
yeah.
There's still like just a lot more there than the first listen suggests. I totally understand what you're saying there. It's a very deep band actually. For as popular as they are, like they're making music like I don't know. I feel like this is gonna sound like condescending, but for the thinking black metal fan,
Yeah. It Sunbather for me, like, I mean, obviously, like Dreamhouse and Sunbather, those tracks are very, very impactful. But yeah, like it was just like really unexpected to like try to like that kind of combination. Like, I couldn't at the beginning of like when I first heard like those records, I didn't understand like the guitars and stuff. It sounded like shoegaze. Obviously, that's the whole genre, but like it didn't fit for me. Like, why would you put those vocals on this kind of music?
Yeah, that's another
And
good point.
and it just grew on me, and then it made sense, you know?
Well, that's one of the things that I hope we'll talk about when we get into the main topic, is like how black metal can kind of be mutated and transformed into kind of anything you want, which is true of any genre of music, I would say probably. But I just think it's, you know, that we'll talk about it. But
Yeah.
yeah, Deaf Heaven. Anything else you've been listening to?
Jute Guide again.
Oh, right. Isn't that like microtonal music?
Yeah, that man. I just been stuck on the. Is it Oviri? I'm not sure. Oviri, I think, is the name of the album. But just the opening track to that one, Democritus Laughing, Democritus,
Yeah.
Democritus. I don't know. All these black metal bands with their weird album names and song titles, but like, it's so weird and like kind of like unsettling,
Yeah.
and it's because like the beat changes and like the guitars change and like obviously microtonal. I believe that the way he recorded it, he was like rolling a dice to like determine like the tempo and stuff, or the beats. I don't know. So it was just kind of random, and like there's like inversions and stuff. It's such a strange approach to creating music, and somehow I think it works. You know, I'd imagine it's probably polarizing. Some like microtonal is kind of hard for people to get into because
Yeah.
it's just not what people are used to. But
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
there's levels to it. I think like even fans of really dissonant metal and stuff sometimes don't like the sound of microtonal music because it's a different kind of dissonance they're not used to.
yeah,
We're all used to 24 true temperament or whatever
yeah,
kind of intervals, and so when we hear stuff that's like outside of that, it literally doesn't sound like music to us.
yeah. It sounds like alien. Sounds kind of like circusy sometimes, just like chromatic, and then also being those microtones. Like it gets that now it takes like a lot of patience to like kind of try to understand what's going on, because sometimes it does sound like noise. But I mean, like, I know like a lot of Middle Eastern music uses, I think, they use a different tone. It's not the 12 tone system that we use. So
Right.
um and then like, yeah, you hear them play, like especially the flute and stuff that they
Hmm.
use. It sounds so weird. But I don't know. I guess it's just like because we're so used to Western music, when you hear something that extreme, it just it doesn't even register as music. But I don't know. It's really been cool, like exploring something that is trying to escape like what normal music does, but like still trying to be music. You
Yeah.
know, because it's not trying to be noise. It's literally like just a different way to approach music that I don't not too many bands try to explore, because I mean it's difficult. It's difficult to like try to create in that way and write in that way.
Is that it for what you've been listening to, or you got more?
No, that's it. That's all
Okay.
I can think of right now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've been kind of passively listening to music too, like you said, like shuffling a lot. I
Mm.
haven't really sat down and like listened to whole releases a whole lot lately because I've been busy kind of doing my own music stuff. But two things that I have sat down and really absorbed, this album Transcendence by I Don't Deserve the Light. Look that up on Bandcamp, everybody. It is the shit.
Yeah, buddy.
Very, very, very good music that I'm very impressed by. You can read my review on the Bandcamp page and see more about what I think about that. But that's black metal, and then also black metal fitting for today is the album Theosis of a Tortured Soul by Luna Mortus. A very good, depressive, raw, really creative, and really well executed black metal album. And I just reviewed that one on Bandcamp too. I think I said it was equally coherent and unhinged at the same time. It's really good. I like both of those a lot. They connect with me on a deep level.
Yeah, that one is very like trance-like to me, and like it's just like it seems like a very painful album. I know, obviously got to work with him for that release, and
Yeah.
just yeah, I mean, I got to know him, and yeah, I mean, it was a very very deep, like meaningful like release for him, and it was. Yeah, I'm very honored to be able to have put that one out for him.
Yeah, not just saying that I like it because, he's a hauntology alumni. I'm saying that like because I mean it. That's what I've been listening to. It's really
Yeah,
good.
no, I
So,
mean, we usually don't. I mean, we put out records we love, like if it's on the label, we dig it. So,
yeah, that is actually that's something I'm proud to say for sure.
mhm.
Um, you know, so I mean, there's a lot more I could put there as well, but those are the ones that I like feel like stand out the most. So,
Yeah,
and then everything else that I've been listening to on shuffle or whatnot has mostly been like music that has trumpet in it because I've been learning trumpet, and I have a couple playlists of music that has trumpet in it. So I've just been listening to that. Sometimes I'll put on um, well, one really good example of an album with a lot of really awesome trumpet and brass arrangements is the 2022 album "Boom Done" by Anthony Green, which is it's like an indie folk emo album, and it just has the most amazing, beautiful trumpet arrangements that are really inspiring to me. And yeah, so since I'm learning that instrument now, I've just been like interested in listening to more stuff with it. And then sometimes I'll just shuffle like pop music and play trumpet along to it too. But again, that's just more passive listening.
yeah. Like Godspeed and especially Lifter Skinny Fist, like intends to heaven. They use horns in that album. I just love I love their use of it.
Yeah,
I,
I mean, there's nothing like real brass,
mhm, yeah, dude, I gotta have you like play like horn on something for me.
Oh, dude, I've been asking everybody that I work with, like, hey, you need trumpet? Hey, you need trumpet? You need
Dude,
trumpet?
let's do it, man. Like I don't know. I've been vibing a lot with especially that last thing you sent me, man. Like we got to do something with that. I feel like I could put my vocals on that much easier than like some of the other stuff. I feel like we can, especially if we like. I have this vision because after like hearing you play the trumpet and then like the last stuff you sent me, I was like maybe we can like make something with this, you know?
I think I know what you're talking about. We can talk more about that off air, but yeah,
Yeah,
totally, dude. I'm absolutely down to put brass in everything because
yeah.
it's awesome. So yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, and then I just realized like this is a little bit anachronistic and out of order, but we jumped right into what we've been listening to, and we could have like talked about like just what we've been up to a little bit before that. So I just it's something I want to do more in these podcast episodes to just let people know what we're up to, make it more relatable for people and stuff. So I guess right now I'll mention that I have found a new passion, and it is something that's helping me on several different levels. Actually, it's gonna sound stupid, but I have discovered really hot peppers lately. Yeah, and
Okay.
so I've always liked spicy food, and when I go to a restaurant that's known for having spicy food, I ask for the top of the menu. Like I ask for the hottest thing they have,
Hmm.
and I don't know why my mouth is like this, but it's just I just have a kinky mouth and it likes to hurt. So Um, but I've discovered this whole community on YouTube of people that just eat the hottest peppers and stuff.
What's the hottest one you've had?
So far, the hottest thing I've had is scorpion peppers. I'm not
Yeah.
sure which one, whether it was the Trinidad or the arugula or whatever, but I have a scorpion pepper mash sauce
Mhm.
that's like It's basically just the pepper and like maybe a little bit of like water and salt, and that's it. So it's like a pure mash, and it's now the hottest thing that I've ever eaten when I dipped my pizza in that.
Yeah.
But what I'm after, what I'm interested in is fresh peppers. I'm either going to have to grow them or find a place that grows them around here locally. But that's what I want to do is I want to just eat the whole pepper like raw.
Yeah, I had some I think ghost peppers,
Yep.
and that was a bad idea.
Those are a good one. Those I've had like sauces with ghost pepper in it, but
Yeah.
I've never had a fresh one.
I ate the fresh ones 'cause, like, they were small, and I just, like, swallowed them
Yeah.
'cause my buddy said I wouldn't. I thought I was fine, but I was not later.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
Probably, like, 15 years ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah, those are great. There's a climb, a slow climb for the heat for that one.
mhm.
But it's 1,000,000 Scoville units, which is like a good kind of middle of the road. You'd think that that's like maybe really, really hot, but
Yeah.
that's where people actually kind of think that peppers go from being hot to super hot. That's like the threshold is like the ghost pepper is the first one that's like super hot.
Yeah, I've had the scorpion pepper sauce.
Yeah.
That was very painful.
Yep.
And
It
then,
is painful. I like it.
um, oh, sorry about that. I've
You're
had
good.
um, it's like the one chip challenge thing.
Oh, the last dab.
I don't know what it was, but I think it was. I almost ended up in the hospital for that. Dude, that was brutal.
So did you get stomach cramps?
Dude, I thought I was dying. Like I couldn't move. It was bad.
So here's the thing is when you eat really, really hot peppers, like hotter
Uh,
than a ghost pepper, you can get stomach cramps.
yeah,
And that's obviously like the worst side effect because the
yeah,
pain in your mouth isn't too bad. Some like I mean it hurts and it sucks,
yeah,
but you can actually get an endorphin rush that'll take care of that pain in your mouth. But the stomach cramps, those can last for hours, even like 16 hours I've heard of.
yeah. That was an hour later. I was in the bathroom trying to puke, and I couldn't. It was It was one of the worst pains I've experienced. So
It's a
it
fun
was.
time, dude. I like it. It's like I don't know. So I say that it works for me on many different levels. Like I just need something that's a little bit destructive, but that's not actually too bad for me. And that's like the perfect vice for
Got
me.
it.
So
Yeah,
I've just landed on hot and spicy peppers as like my new other than coffee, that's my new vice.
yeah. No, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I tried to get in like spicy food. I don't know. I don't know if I tried to get into it. Like I used to eat spicy food, but I started getting heartburn as I got older, so I can't do it
Yeah, I'm
so
not going to be able to
much.
do it my whole life, I'm sure. So I'm going to enjoy it while I can.
I mean, like some people build up a tolerance. I think it's probably just genetic and like how you kind of react with like acid reflux and stuff.
Right. Well, I don't have
So,
acid reflux. Also, I'm allergic to Pepto Bismol, so I can't really like coat my stomach before I eat spicy food. So I just
uh,
have to deal with it.
yeah, I usually just take Tums. I haven't, but yeah, I don't know. I don't. I try. I still like mildly spicy food, but I always pay for it later.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I guess I'm all right with it most of the time. So like I said, that's been my new thing. And one of my favorite things to do is to like eat something really hot and then just come sit down and like work on music or watch YouTube while I suffer and just kind of like enjoy it. But
That's 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 pretty wild, dude. Yeah, nice.
everybody's got to have their vices, right?
Yeah, for
And
sure.
I'm just trying to not make it drinking. So
Hmm.
that's one thing that I can think of that's it's a little bit destructive, but it's not too bad.
Yeah, I'd say between drinking and uh, eating peppers, I'd say peppers probably way better for you.
Oh yeah, it's not actually like a poison. It's just kind of irritating to
Yeah,
your like organs.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Whether I'm gonna end up growing some or just finding some place locally, some nursery that sells them. But we'll see. Um,
Yeah, it's a pretty cool hobby. Get into growing stuff. I used to grow mushrooms, not the drugs, but
Right.
lion's mane and like blue oysters.
Okay.
They sell like the kits that you can grow. It's like so. I like the lions and manes a lot because like it's a like you can kind of make them into like almost like a meat replacement. So I really like turning making like vegan steaks with those. Just smash them down.
Well, more for you, man, because I really do not like mushrooms,
Yeah,
and I am not vegetarian or vegan, so I'm just gonna eat steak. But
yeah. Well, I mean, like there's gonna be a mushroom you like. I mean, there's so many.
I don't want to try them because I'm just not interested. But
Yeah,
yeah, just like shiitake mushrooms or like portobello mushrooms, not my thing at all.
yeah. I'm portobellos are okay, but lion's mane's different. It's very different, but especially if you know how to make them.
I mean, I already deal with like um what's it called with dandruff in my hair. That's a fungus. I deal with like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I get like stuff on my leg. I don't know if that's a fungus or whether it's something else. I'm like, I hate this shit. Just keep it away from me.
Yeah,
So that's where I stand with that. Also, I mean, to be completely like transparent, I was just raised to hate mushrooms. Like my mom instilled it in me that they're evil from the time I was, old enough to talk. So
oh wow. Okay,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, indoctrination there. So
Nice. Yeah, I didn't like them growing up, but then obviously giving up animal products, like it kind of it was like a nice like kind of meat replacement for me.
yeah, I mean, if I was vegan, then that is one of the few options that I would have available to me that I would probably end up, trying.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. If you haven't out there tried lion's mane, check them out. Smash them down, fry them. They're really good.
I knew about the lion's mane like coffees and stuff that they sell, but I didn't know about using it as a steak. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
people are like a lot of hipsters are like trying to make everything into like with lion's mane. It's like supposed to
Yeah,
be a superfood, but I don't know. It
yeah, it's
just
got like
tastes good.
nootropics and stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know,
I don't know. Like I'm skeptical about all that, but I just like them.
just like them.
Yeah,
Fair enough.
but
So we talked about what we're listening to. We talked about some stuff we've been up to, or at least I did. Um, but I wanted to get into, and we could probably talk about this for like 3 hours, so we need to try to keep it moving. But the question that I had is why black metal? And I think the first angle to attack that is why do you make black metal? Of all things that you could have decided to make music in, of all genres, why black metal?
all right. Uh, for me, why did I start writing black metal? Um, I I I'm not really sure. Like I know like I love post rock, so like it would have made sense for me to like do that. But then like I wanted the vocals too, and I'm not crazy about singing.
Right.
And I wanted I don't know I like post rock post black metal for me was like obviously like the marrying of the two,
Yeah.
and it was kind of cool the idea of like trying to make something like uplifting while also like having these very harsh vocals, and like so it's kind of like dark romantic kind of like music in a weird way, and I kind of found that appealing. So like I said, like I wanted to kind of just write songs that were like kind of long droning and um kind of more like cinematic, like kind of like I don't know. I really like film scores, and I wanted to do something like that, but with like dark vocals. So it's kind of what led me to where I was at. I mean, I was influenced by a lot of well, I'm more influenced by more of the modern black metal than I was like the old school.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, like black metal, it's it's like can be beautiful and it can be like raw and like it's like something like kind of the other genres can't really do quite the same. Like there's not really like beautiful death metal, you
Right.
know.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a good point.
so I mean, like some bands are kind of doing it. Kardashev was kind of
Yeah,
trying to
I've heard
marry
them
that.
described as almost post death metal. So
Yeah, I heard it like Death Gaze, which was kind of a cool way to call it. But like again, like it's only really beautiful because of the singing. And I was like, well, let's get rid of the singing. What can we do to be dark and beautiful? And it's like post black metal, you know.
so you're touching on one of my notes that I have here, which is a main reason for me for sure, is that it aligns with my talents as a musician, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've kind of come into my own with clean singing, but when I started Pull the Strings in 2021, yeah, I didn't have the first idea how to sing. And I was just playing around with my voice and figured out that I could do black metal vocals. And so, naturally, wanting to make music, I started making black metal. That's one of the reasons for sure. I mean, I definitely kind of feel you there. Like, just what can we do without clean singing, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the clean I like clean singing, and I especially like female vocals in black metal and stuff. Um, and like that's also why I do that thing where I play the guitar with a drumstick. And I kind of mimics the choir voice because I wanted to like implement that kind of like haunting, like ghostly voice.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, the first time I heard it in one of your songs, I thought it was a female vocalist. So,
yeah, yeah, I learned that Godspeed You Blank Emperor and their song "Sleep." They play the guitar with a screwdriver, and I I I took that song to my guitar instructor, and I was like, what is that a voice? Like, what instrument is that?" Like, we couldn't figure it out. I ended up finding it on YouTube, and yeah, they're just playing with the screwdriver,
yeah.
and so I ripped that off, and I was like, I'm gonna do this all the time because
Yeah.
it's so spooky. It's like haunting. It's beautiful. Yeah, so I really love the guitar because like you can mimic so many different instruments.
This is true. Add
You
some
know,
reverb on there and you can
yeah,
do anything. Um, so you wanted to make black metal because you wanted to make harsh and beautiful music at the same time.
yeah. I thought
Yeah.
that would be an interesting challenge. It's like that's why I try to write in like major keys and like write stuff that kind of has uplifting moments in it, like
Yeah.
long builds to like really like uplifting. Like I don't know that the one track I keep bugging you about. Like I try to like those like grandiose build ups and then like harmonies and melodies that are very uplifting. Um, so yeah, I just I don't know. I found like most black metal bands, they're writing in minor keys, which is great. Obviously, I love it, but like you know, to kind of try to stand out, like you pick things that people don't really haven't really done before. But obviously, more bands are starting to do that too. But um, I really wanted to try and like do something with it that I hadn't really heard before.
Yeah, man. That's a really good place to start. And just as like a footnote to that, I do think that black metal does lend itself to beautiful melodies, haunting melodies, and just it can be grandiose and awe-inspiring, or it can be like really depressive
Yeah.
and emotional. It can convey so many different emotions, which is something that death metal doesn't really have. It's all kind of full bore aggression, interlude, full bore
Mm-hmm.
aggression, interlude. Like one of my favorite bands, I hate to say it, but they have two moods, which is ulcerate.
Mm-hmm.
um it's an amazing band and they do it better than anybody, but They don't write in major keys. They don't branch into more beautiful stuff. I mean, they do the post metal thing, which allows for freedom there, but yeah, black metal just has more of like this expressiveness to it because of like I said, you can mutate it into anything you want,
Hmm.
which is also true of every genre again. But I just feel like it's especially it's really rife for creativity and expression, especially for people like you and I who were guitarists first. It's one of the options available to us in the world of metal, and it's also one that doesn't require singing, and it's
Hmm.
also one where you can express your emotions, in a more direct way. So I mean, it just makes sense in that sense.
Yeah, yeah. Black metal, like after like I don't even know what wave we are, fourth.
Oh, I don't care.
Yeah, it
I
doesn't
do
matter,
not
bro.
care.
But like, yeah, I mean, uh, we're starting to see some really cool stuff. You know, stuff like that. It people are really like pushing what like black metal is, and I'm very excited to. I'm very excited about it. Even like even small bands like Active Entropy is like making some like weird like psychedelic black metal jazz free like I don't know. It's like so weird.
Yeah,
It's almost like they're doing a fusion, but then like just with like I don't know black metal. It's like bizarre.
totally. Yeah, man, I love that. I love that kind of thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean that's a really good place to start. Another big reason for me why decided to make black metal of all things I could have done is this might have been the first thing that actually led me to do it before the vocals thing, before the like this is the skills I have thing. It might have actually been this, which was that it's an outlet to express my kind of dark and depressed thoughts in a creative way.
Hmm.
And like you can do that in any genre again, but I just feel like black metal is uniquely like it's one of the best vehicles for expressing dark depressive thoughts, because I mean it just has this like the vocals are crying out. It has this like hopeless feeling to it, especially a lot of the more depressive bands in the genre. And like the very first collaboration I ever did with anybody musically that got released was this band Odirmos from Greece. And we did a couple of releases with me on vocals, but the one that got released last year, The Never Ending Journey, was written in 2021 or 2022. And that's what I was, that's what I used that opportunity, my first opportunity to be a vocalist in a band, to write about my trauma. And I did that, and I needed to get that stuff out. And it was a really nice way to be able to start moving on from some of those feelings. And so I'm really thankful to black metal for that, for sure. Same thing with Pull the Strings. Started with the song Corn is Florida, which was a song that I wrote when I was really depressed one day. I was just pacing my room, writing that song, and then I looked out my window and saw the dogwood tree in my yard blooming, and it had pink leaves. And I just thought, that's what I'm going to name the song. And so I wrote a couple of lines about how it was like my last hope, seeing that kind of beautiful tree blooming there in the yard. So yeah, it's just not to get too like cheesy with it, but like I feel like black metal is like the perfect vehicle for me to express my dark thoughts.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean like some of the tracks I wrote were like very personal. I Still See You in My Dreams is extremely personal uh, track for me. Um, the Glass Box, While You Drift Away, is like very personal tracks, about like things that happened in my life. Like some of them, I don't even know if I would share the lyrics. So like, and that's also kind of cool. Like you can't understand what I'm saying, so like even if it's like yeah, I can share it without people like really even knowing.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah, you have that option if you want to lean into the inaudibility of the vocals, you can do that.
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like it is cool, like um, the ability to like really like delve into things that are kind of like dark, and some of it's like poetic and stuff. Most of the stuff I write now is like mostly more poet on the poetic side of it, but like um, some of them are very personal tracks also. So yeah, I mean, like I still see you in my dreams. Probably one of my favorite tracks I've written.
Yeah, man,
Uh,
it's so good to be able to get it out in some way and
yeah,
make something as like a what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of make a yeah, just make art out of it, you know? There's no need to put it into more obscure terms than that. It's a healthy outlet for the dark thoughts. And black metal's perfect for that. So that's a big reason for me why I make it and why I still love making it for sure.
yeah,
I mean, on the same token, it's also a nice outlet to vent anger and contempt and self-loathing and all those more aggressive emotions too. Death metal can do that as well, but black metal has this unique ability to make it beautiful, which is what we were talking about. So I just feel like all that is one big solid reason for why black metal. And then also, yeah, we talked about mutating it into anything. That's a good thing to harp on. We were talking about Deaf Heaven. They are probably the first black metal band that I ever heard using like a bunch of major keys and a bunch of like shoegaze and stuff. And maybe the first post black metal band I latched onto. And that's a point in itself, is that post black metal is definitely the thing that has influenced me more than traditional black metal, I would say. And why does why does I can't talk why does post black metal even exist? Well, it's because people took what the first and second wave of black metal did, and they said, that's cool, but I've got my own ideas for this. And they did their thing, and that's what's inspired me the most, is that fusion of genres with post black metal.
yeah. I think I mean post black metal gets a lot of hate. Uh, oh, sorry. Post black metal gets a lot of hate, but like uh, I mean it's kind of been good for the scene in general, just like even the old school bands, because most people wouldn't have gotten into black metal. A lot of people wouldn't have if it wasn't like for like bands like Def Heaven and stuff that kind of just like open the door for them like to get into the more extreme vocals.
Yeah,
I kind of went the opposite direction, where I was listening to like death metal, and then I kind of
yeah, yeah,
eased into the softer stuff. But like, there's I know a lot of people are like getting into black metal, um, like through Def Heaven and stuff. Like, that's good for the scene and as a whole, because like a lot of the people that like Def Heaven, they don't want to just be known as like Def Heaven fans. Like they try to like get into the other stuff, so they're not seen as posers. So,
I feel like it's really similar to what's going on with metalcore and Sleep Token, but I
mm,
don't actually listen to them, so I don't have a whole lot to say about that. I just feel like it's a similar thing that's happening.
yeah, I still haven't heard a single Sleep Token song.
I have a
Um,
feeling you wouldn't enjoy it. You're not a very pop or metalcore kind of guy.
yeah, one of the guys I used to work with, he hated Sleep Token like so much, and I was like, why? I didn't want to hear any of the music, but um, it seemed he like had an irrational hatred
Yeah.
for Sleep Token. I think he just had hatred for any band that was popular. So he hated
Sleep Token are the epitome of a sold out metal band now, but I definitely think there's still talent there. It's just not for me.
yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I mean like he hated what's that other band? They're a real popular deathcore band. Um man, they wrote
Carnage 4?
this. Yes, Lorna Shore. That's it. He really hates them, and I don't know why.
There's not much to say there other than the simple fact that, it's not a bad thing to be popular, and I think Deaf Heaven is amazing despite their popularity, and I think they're one of the best black metal bands doing it right now. Of any, whether you're talking about the history of black metal until now or just post black metal, I don't care. I think they're great. So
Are they that popular? Like they're probably one of the most popular black metal bands, but you're talking about like they have less than 500,000. I mean, like obviously that's a lot. That's a lot of
it's a lot.
listeners, but like you compare that to even something like it's kind of niche, like Deftones, right? Uh, they have 13.4 million. You know,
Yeah, I mean, Deftones are like multi generational now, though. So
yeah, that's pretty wild. Like because I remember when I was in like high school, I think that record Minerva came out, and that's kind of what I had to pretend I didn't like that record because I didn't want my friends to make fun of me. But yeah, that one was popular. Oh, when I was growing up, and now like because of TikTok, all the kids kind of got into them because
yeah.
all the goth baddies were making dance videos with their music. So
I just like all the videos that I see on Instagram that use why can't I think of this grunge band's name? It's one of the three that it could possibly be. Not Nirvana.
Stone
I don't
Temple
know.
Pilots.
Nope, it's not Stone Temple
Is
Pilots.
that a
That's like
grunge band?
they'd be like fifth on the list, really though. Um,
Soundgarden. They're not, it's like this is like a weird
Lane
thing.
Staley, which band was he in?
I don't.
People are gonna be screaming at us,
I
but
know, because
Alice in Chains.
that's it.
They've
Yeah,
they've been they've become really popular in meme videos lately, and I love to see it. It's great. It's better than like a lot of the alternatives that people could use.
I think it's funny. Like so, like grunge music has like doesn't have a sound.
You
It's like
know,
it's an era. It's
I might argue that it does because I think bands are really ripping it off these days. Like a lot of bands are ripping off new metal. I think a lot of bands are also ripping off grunge.
I think like the post grunge bands like Nickelback and Creed and stuff like that actually had a more cohesive sound
That's definitely true.
than like the grunge bands. Like people called Soundgarden grunge, people called Nirvana grunge,
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots.
They're all very, very
Yeah,
vastly different from each
yeah,
other,
they
to be
don't sound
fair.
like grunge to me. Like I don't like. I think a grunge maybe to me it's like Nirvana would be kind of that would be kind of it to me. But like they consider themselves punk. Cobain, I think, did.
Yeah, it's a
So
whole can of worms. People are very passionate about these things. I don't really have opinions about them. I just know that I grew up when grunge was like starting to die off, but it was still kind of popular,
yeah,
and it was really influential on me, like all the bands, because I think because they were all so different, and it was inspiring to me that all this different types of rock existed.
yeah. I think I find this. I always found this interesting. Like you're saying, like new metal. Again, that is not a real genre to me. You know, like System of a Down, Slipknot, Deftones.
They all sound so different.
Dude, like new metal is just like an era. Limp Bizkit, like,
Well,
what
that's the
does it
thing
even
is
mean?
that most of the genres that we think
Yeah,
of, the bands that make up the first wave of that genre are
yeah,
all very different, but then it gets distilled down into like this is what it is later on.
yeah. But like,
Less
I don't know.
originality.
What is new metal like the sound to you? Like
I
if you
mean,
could pick like a
the
band
first
that's the
thing I think of
epitome.
is Limp Bizkit, but they have a lot of
Yeah.
different sounds.
I think Limp Bizkit, to me, that's what new metal that sound is. I'm like, I never got into Limp Bizkit, but like when I think of new metal, I think of that kind of like fusion of like rapping with like rock, kind of like harder rock, you know. So,
Right.
but yeah, I mean, it's like weird how these genres to me aren't even really genres. Even like punk, it seems like more of an attitude than it is an actual uh, genre.
Yeah. Again, it's one of those things like when you think of the progenitors of a genre, they're very
Hmm.
different from each other. I agree with
Yeah,
you there. Then as time goes on, people get less creative and they just suck off of each other and
yeah,
it gets distilled down into this thing. Even when you compare hardcore punk to punk,
hmm,
hardcore punk has different shades of how intense and metallic it is, but it still
yeah,
sounds like kind of like one thing, whereas punk doesn't.
yeah. And I was asking um, some people on the forums, uh, what is DSBM? Like, does it have a sound or is it like an attitude? It's like because they like obviously a lot of the DSBM fans they like the band Life Lover
Yeah.
and then Jaster. Like,
Yeah.
these don't sound at all alike, you know. It's like so I always found that interesting to me, and to me, I think a lot of music is more of like it's like an era of time and like kind of the attitude towards music, and that's kind of what creates a lot of these genres. And
That is very true. I think once you get down the line from a genre and you've forked into different paths and you're in some sub micro genre,
mhm,
that's when I think it becomes more about personal expression than it is about this is the genre that I'm in. Like it can be both ways, but I think people pick a micro genre or a subgenre even and just decide, all right, this is how I'm going to express myself for this EP or this album.
mhm,
I mean, there's obviously people that'll make albums that are completely different track to track as well. It's not a general rule or anything like that, but a lot of times I've noticed that people will pick a subgenre and then just decide to explore that and express themselves in that way. And oftentimes the actual sound of it you can pinpoint a little bit easier than some of the progenitors of the subgenre because they're just drawing from influences that
mhm,
are all pretty similar at this point because there's so many bands.
yeah.
Um, I mean, it's just the way things go. I don't think it's good or bad, but you do have to be more creative when you're using sounds that have already been kind of made popular, you know?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not really a criticism of any bands or anything. It's more of just kind of like something I've been thinking about, especially when it comes to like punk and stuff. Because I mean, like Godspeed You Black Emperor and a Silver Mount Zion are very closely tied together. Like a lot of the same band members, but the Silver Mount Zion like thinks of themselves kind of having like this punk ethos, even though they don't sound like punk at all. You know, um, so I don't know. I think it's interesting that these like these things that people tie themselves to, um, and it almost sometimes doesn't like they don't even sound like these like the genre that they claim they are, which
Yeah,
is
well, I
fine.
mean, it's just because we have to market ourselves somehow,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I wish that art and content were not the same thing these days, but here we are.
Well, I think of a part of it is more of like community. You see this a lot in
Yeah,
the hardcore scene. You know, like bands. I think like Newfound Glory. I think the singer or something was in like some hardcore bands, and so they're more accepted into hardcore, even though they're like softcore.
right,
And then like Fleshwater is like mostly made of the members of Vane FM. So like they're kind of accepted into the hardcore scene, even though they're like post hardcore, you know?
right. Yeah,
So I think it has more to do with community and stuff. And like kind of like with like black metal and stuff, if you pay tribute to like the classics and stuff, or like you know, like if you get respect from the elders of black metal, like you're more likely to be accepted into the scene as a whole. And I know like in the beginning, like Deaf Heaven had a lot of trouble with that because it was more because of like the way they look. They didn't look like traditional black metal guys, you know.
yeah,
They look like indie rock guys.
I
Um,
can see that.
but you
I
know,
think that's all a bunch of horse shit, but that's because I'm like an outsider still, even though I make music and work on the label and stuff. Like I'm not a music industry guy, and I'm definitely not like in the uh the thick of the scene of black metal or anything like that.
Yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. Uh, I mean, like a lot of the black metal fans, the few that I've met, like they're pretty cool, dude. Like, I don't know. What you got to do, like, if you want to fit in, you just got to bench 3 plates. So we're gonna get you working out, dude. You bench 3 plates, they'll respect you.
Well, I'm probably never going to fit in then. um, but yeah, I mean, talking about black metal again, let's get back on that train while we're thinking about it.
Yeah.
There's more things that I can think of, like more reasons why I chose it. And then after that, we can just talk about what we like about it in general. But I think another big reason to me is that despite how weird it would sound to somebody that doesn't listen to the genre, I do find it aesthetically pleasing in different ways. Like I do think that overall the like let's just put the sound of it aside. I think the way that I don't know how to say this correctly because I'm not talking about the way people dress. I'm not talking about the album artwork. It's not that. It's something different. I just see it as like it's like a vibe, it's like a mood, even though the
Mm-hmm.
art is more than that. But if you zoom out, it's like this it's aesthetically appealing to me in a way that something like death metal isn't. And
Mm-hmm.
now I'm not above like, you know, like I play in a death metal band. I'm not above being seen as a death metal guy or anything like that. But I would prefer to be seen as a black metal guy aesthetically. I know that's so abstract and weird to say, but that's it's another reason why I decided to stick around and keep making it is that it agrees with my aesthetic sensibilities. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's like in your soul, dude. Like that's what it is. You know, like
That's a way better way of putting it.
it's like in your heart. Like that's kind of how I feel about black metal. Like, man, like the way it moves me, like even though like I kind of dress like a dork and I got like the Ned Flanders mustache, but like you know, I black metal moves me in a way that no other genre has for
Right.
sure. Like it's everything. Like, and it's there's all these different flavors to it, and like it's it's been the most like impactful, like to me, and like so
Totally.
like for me like um kind of like being part of that kind of community and like seeing like the vast like amount of people like kind of like all walks of life like have been able to embrace it, you know. I think it
Hmm.
for me it's like kind of been important to me, and you know I might I don't feel like I still wear the band shirts and stuff every once in a while, but like you know I'm 35 and be 36, so like I have a normal job, you know. I'm so I don't like I don't dress like normal, like how normal black metal fans are and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
it's still like
Yeah.
part of me. It's a huge part of me, you know.
Yeah, I think a better way of saying what I was just trying to say is that I it just makes me feel like my authentic self, you know?
Yeah.
That's basically the best way to sum it up is that making it and being a part of the community of black metal, it makes me feel like, yeah, this is where I belong. This is what I should
Hmm.
be doing, kind of thing.
Yeah. For me, like the normal, like me dressing kind of normal and just kind of like looking like a normal guy. I mean, I don't have piercings or tattoos and stuff, and I just look like an average guy. But like, this is the mask. This is the mask. You
Yeah,
know. Usually it's the other way around. You know, but like,
right.
um, you know, some of the stuff like I listen to and some of the stuff I write, like it's uncomfortable for people to like really even like look at.
Right.
So, um, you know, I don't really share with people in my personal lives this stuff, you know.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, this, like I said, like my normal self is the mask, and like who I really am, like is my music and black metal in general, in a way.
Yeah, I totally feel that. I feel like even with my musician friends, like we're not close until we've talked about my black metal.
Yeah.
You know? It's just like
Yeah.
it's the closest to like a spiritual kind of communication that I'm ever going to give musically, because that's something I thought about writing down on my notes, but I didn't, because it was like, what am I saying here? But I feel like making black metal kind of makes me feel closer to God. I'm not
Mhm.
necessarily somebody that has my beliefs figured out. I'm kind of in a state of flux with that all the time. But I express the most vulnerable parts of myself when I make this music. I cry out to, if there is anything, I'm crying out to it in this music. So like that, it just has this like extra level of just, yeah, like I said, just vulnerability and kind of spirituality to it. So
Yeah, no, I'm for sure. I mean, I a lot of this is like the stuff I write is like this inner battle I have with myself. And just like this feeling of kind of a lot of it's like lost time and also just like emptiness. There's this like great void in most people. And being able to write and create and like being heard and being like understood by like the fans has been very like it's very like it's almost like spiritual to me. Having people like tell me my music is beautiful, or that like someone commented it speaks to their heart, like
yeah.
yeah, it's
And see,
like
you can, that's the
mm,
thing as well. I didn't mean to cut you off there. You can totally finish, but like you can make music that gives somebody that reaction with this
mhm,
genre, or
yeah,
you can make something that makes somebody go, holy fucking shit. That's the most brutal, heavy thing I've ever
yeah,
heard. And it's still black metal.
yeah, yeah. I think like if you can combine like those elements, like make it like just brutal and beautiful, like that's truly like something, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like I said, we could talk about this forever. What do you just like about it in general? Not in the sense that like making it, because we've talked about that ad nauseum. But like, what do you like about black metal in general?
Um, a big part of for me is just kind of like I'm really big into that like harsh like noise wall.
Yeah,
Just like the guitars that are just like overwhelming.
right.
I really like that, and like I just kind of like the harmonies and stuff that a lot of these bands create. I was like, I don't know, they're just like especially like the blast beat drums and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I don't go crazy with my music with that. I mean, some of the stuff obviously, but um, just that like that fast pace with just like the guitars that are just like I don't know. I can't. It's hard for me to explain.
I think the best example I can give is "In the Night Side Eclipse" by Emperor.
Mm,
Classic example. It's also a cool example because it's a little bit ahead of its time in that the production isn't really shitty, and there's like a bunch of different progressive elements on it. But I think of that. That's one of the few classic black metal albums that does directly influence me, even though I haven't listened to it 1,000 times. Like that's one of those albums that stuck with me because, first of all, Isan's vocals are kind of like they're somewhat similar to what I do, in a certain way, and I do consider myself to have kind of unique black metal vocals, like we talked about with Sean from Teach Them to Weep.
hmm
Um, so it influenced me that way, but it also just it strikes me as what they were trying to do with that album is kind of what I try to do with Pull the Strings sometimes, not all the time. I do different things with Pull the Strings, but sometimes I try to make it kind of like an elegant version of black metal that's got like a nice polish to it and it has like progressive elements and stuff. I did that with like the two-part EP that I released in 2024 for sure. So people might not immediately draw that connection to that album, but I mean, it's a good example. The blast beats, I've been using that more for stuff that I've been writing lately for sure. I mean, both of us are we don't have real drummers. We're using, drum machines on the computer basically. So we could go absolutely crazy with it if we wanted to, but you try to be tasteful with it and everything because
Yeah.
it's all just like they're every instrument, whether it's like a VST or an actual instrument sitting there next to you, like they're all just tools, right? So it's
Mhm.
just how are you going to use this tool to express yourself, basically. And like we were talking about at the very beginning of this conversation, I feel like this is just a unique way of expressing yourself. It's not so unique anymore. I mean, it's been around for however long. Black metal's been around 30, 40 years, I don't know, but uh, there's just a lot of opportunity for like kind of visceral and personal expression with this genre in different ways. Yeah, man, I don't know. It's like I also kind of feel like deep down inside, like you have to be a little bit of a nerd to like listen to black metal or make it. Like you have to be a little bit of like a like you had to not be too popular in high school kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I like that about it too.
Yeah, it was definitely like kind of outsider music. Even like even listening to death metal for me in high school, like no one listened. Like there was a couple people that kind of listened to death metal,
I'll
but
always remember this one guy that wore Cannibal Corpse shirts to school.
yeah, I would wear the cattle decapitation shirts. I'm right. My teacher got mad at me because I wore the humanure shirt.
I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I wore it several times, and when the teacher finally noticed how just revolting it was, like, oh, sorry.
Oh well.
Yeah, I'm not really drawn too much to like the gross like album covers and stuff. I like the ones that are like I don't mind like if it's scary looking, but like not like grotesque. Like I don't really like some of the slam stuff's kind of really gross and like porno grind is pretty bad.
Yeah.
But
Imagine that. We're attracted to what is beautiful.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I don't know, like some of it, this, like this, like the defacement. I don't know if it was the first record, but the one without the face, that one
It's
was
called
like,
Defacement, their
yeah,
second one.
hard to look at.
Yeah,
Great record,
totally understand,
great
yeah.
record, you know. But yeah, really hard to look at.
I mean, that is just one of the stark differences that I see between in general, I'm not saying all the time, but in
Hmm.
general, between death and black metal, is that death metal
Yeah,
is supposed to be kind of more like horror movie-esque, whereas black
yeah,
metal doesn't have to be, you know? Or
yeah,
that's even too broad because there's different types of horror movies, obviously.
yeah,
There's plenty of them that are just spooky and plenty of them that are suspenseful. Not all of them are
yeah.
gory and all that
I'd
kind of
say
stuff.
like death metal is like classic horror. Um, slam is like campy, like Jason movies,
Yeah.
and then like black metal is kind of like almost like vampire, you know.
Certain types of black metal, yeah. I
Yeah,
also feel like a lot of it is kind of The Shining too, where it's more
yeah,
suspenseful.
that's it. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that stuff. Yeah, um, I yeah for sure. Like, there's room for it all. Obviously,
Exactly.
I still love slam, obviously, but some of it's a little over the top for me. But
I haven't really found too much in that genre that I love, other than I will say that the oh, what are they called? They're like one of the most popular ones. They're from Russia.
extermination, dismemberment.
No, it's
I
Abominable
don't think that's a
Putridity.
abominable putridity. Yeah, that's like the two like biggest ones. I think abominable putridity just crushes.
Yeah, they're really
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Um, and then extermination, dismemberment's pretty good. Those 808 drops are so funny. Oh man.
Yeah.
Trying to think of other slam bands. Um, I like Big Chef. That one's weird. This guy from Australia.
I'm not familiar with that.
Yeah, I would be surprised. He writes some really goofy stuff. He's also like even in some of the tracks he plays the xylophone, which is pretty
Okay.
sweet. Yeah,
Yeah,
check
why
that one
not?
out. It's goofy, really goofy. Um, Caterpillar, I think. No, maybe that's the name of the record. But this Guinea Pig, and then I think the record's Caterpillar. Um, the vocals, some of them sound like bubbles.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times I still like the music with stuff like that,
Yeah,
but the vocals, like, I'd rather them just not be there than to be that, like, devoid of lyricism and stuff.
yeah, that one was weird to me. I was like, oh, this. I actually liked it. I appreciated it, but like, they did the normal like slam vocals, and then
But I really think there's only 2 bands in the genre that I've ever actually given any time to. One is Abominable Putridity,
mhm,
the other is Cephalotripsy. They're both
yeah,
decent.
um,
They're really good, but for my taste, they're just,
yeah.
it's just not my thing, you know?
You ever check out Disfiguring the Goddess?
Yeah, yeah. I remember like watching Big Chocolate's videos back in the day on YouTube, and I do
His,
remember the collab they did with I Declare War as well.
yeah, his, I still love that Deprived record is really good. Um, trying to think of other slam bands. I've kind of fallen out with slam, but Nithing. Oh my god,
That one I'm familiar with. That's the one that
dude.
has the like really abstract
Yeah,
cover
yeah, that one is heavy as hell.
agonal hymns.
Yeah,
Yeah, I still got to pick this up. This is like I don't consider it to be slam. It's just like
it might be
really
brutal
extreme death
death.
metal.
Yeah, it's like more brutal death. Yeah, there's I don't know how to think about it. It's not really slam, but yeah, I don't know.
That's good shit though. I
Yeah,
just added that to my wish list. Well, dude, that's about all I think we can talk about without like just droning on forever in like boringness. But black metal, it's a good place to be. I'm happy to be here. To anybody that's ever checked out any of my black metal, thank you. I'm sorry that the vocals are so shitty, and it's not going to get any better. Although I am kind of starting to do more like lows and stuff lately, so there's that. But also, some big news for Pull the Strings. My friend Gabe has joined the band, so it's no longer a solo project. So that'll be interesting. Look forward to the new EP that's coming out in June called A Farewell. That's the last one that's just me. And then from there, Gabe will be writing as well. So fun times.
nice. Yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
It's really cool because it's like I was saying earlier, when you find somebody that you can share your black metal with, it's like that's when you know that they're down and they're cool. And so finding somebody that wants to work on this with me, this little shitty black metal project I started, like that's really cool. So
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. I'm excited for what the future holds for Pull the Strings.
and if you're out there and you're listening to this and you live in the Chicagoland area, you need to play live with Adrian and I See Satan. So hit him up.
Yeah, I mean, that, uh, I wish, dude.
You need to
Uh,
hit him up.
yeah, that would be cool. If it would be better if I could just do the vocals. So if I could find like 5 members to play all the
Oh,
instruments,
you
that would
just
be
need
sick.
drums, guitar, bass, and then you can do vocals.
Yeah.
And I mean, you could have a fifth member to do like weird shit too, but
Mhm. Yeah. I layer the guitars so it'd be like 2 rhythms and a lead.
yeah, I do the same thing. It's just the
Yeah.
way that you do it in the studio, so it sounds full, but live, usually one of the people will just play lead and one person will
Yeah.
back them up.
Yeah. Uh, and then I demand also a percussionist and of harp and violin. So
And
those
then
are
you got
my
me on trumpet if you want.
and trumpet. So that those are my demands if you want to play music with me. It's like
Yeah, although I would have to.
9-piece orchestra.
It'd be hard for me to get up there, but yeah, dude, I would love to eventually play trumpet live with a metal band. That'd be so sick.
That'd be
We
pretty
were gonna
cool.
do it in Signosis, but like I'm just not like confident enough with it yet. I'm still
Hmm.
practicing, but I think we'll eventually get there.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool that you did you just learn that or
So I played trumpet for 1 year in 6th grade. So that would have been 2008. and then I gave it up and moved to strings class and played upright bass for
Oh,
5 years and 4 years, whatever, 5 years. And so I just had this trumpet sitting in its case for literally 15, 16 years. I took it out once or twice, but like never seriously. And then I decided I wanted to get serious about it a couple weeks ago, and so I've been practicing almost every day.
do you have an upright bass?
No, I've never owned an upright bass.
Hmm.
So the last time I played upright bass was 2014 when I graduated high school.
You ever thought about the electric upright?
Never thought about it because it's just not the same. I mean, it would feel the same to play, but sound wise, it's just not the same.
Do you do you play that one with the bow, or is it to your
Yeah, you
fingers?
can play it with a bow or fingers, either way.
Yeah, because I wanted. I almost bought an upright bass to play with the bow, so I can get those long sustaining notes.
Right. Yeah, you can tune it down to like D or C and get those really nice thick low notes with it. It's pretty sick.
I found one for like $400. I was gonna pick it up. I
It'd
think
be
it's a
cool to record
Dean.
one of those for sure. It'd be kind of hard to engineer, but you could figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like if I could just plug it right into the interface, right? Like,
No, oh, you mean an electric upright
yeah,
bass? Yeah, you could do that. You could just record it DI and then use like a,
I
you
don't know
know,
what I would use.
I don't know either, man. That's a whole new world, but I was thinking you were talking about an acoustic one because that you would have to mic that one up, obviously.
Yeah, I had an electric violin,
Oh yeah.
and I gave up. I'm too old for that to
Oh
like try to
dude.
learn to play that one.
Oh dude. No, the notes are too close together, man.
It is very difficult.
Yeah.
It just
Not
I'm
only
like,
that, but
oh, I'll just
technique
learn
wise,
this in a
actually
week.
making it sound beautiful is so
Yeah,
hard.
I know it sounded like a dying cat,
Right.
which I heard is normal.
And by the way, it's not too easy to make a trumpet sound beautiful either. I'm finding that out. Like
Yeah,
it takes a lot of very, very, very tiny differences in your muscle tension in your face. It's
yeah,
it's it's an interesting thing.
yeah. You know, I think I'm just gonna stick to guitar. Not trying. Not gonna learn any more instruments. No.
I mean, you can play guitar, bass, you can scream. Like you
Yeah,
got some talents, man. You can
that's
program
all.
drums.
That's all I need. Master of none. uh, yeah, I'll just stick to being okay at guitar. I could get a song made with the guitar.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. As long as you can write music, you're good, right? So,
yeah,
all right, man. Well, you got any announcements for the label for the end of this episode?
I don't know. Um,
I mean,
my
last time with the interview with Sean, we covered everything from and Scene's new
unseen
album's
tapes,
out. We still have vinyl for
liminal animal,
Liminal Animal. We still have
gnashing teeth,
Gnashing Teeth vinyl.
mind prisoner
Mind
tapes.
Prisoner tapes are still there.
Dude, I can't believe those are like selling out. That record's so damn good.
It is really good. I don't even know what kind of genre to call it because it changes up, but it's
It's
really good.
They call it uh blackened
Doom?
atmospheric doom.
Right,
Yeah,
right, right. Which that makes enough sense to me, but
yeah,
it changes it up a lot, but it all sounds really good. That's all I know.
yeah. No, killer record. Um, very happy to put that one out on the vinyl that we did. Those went quick, so happy about that. Um,
I'm just pulling up the Bandcamp to make sure we don't miss anything here real quick. We got the new Teach Them to Weep EP that just came out, and there's tapes for that. If you want to pick one of those up, definitely do that.
yep,
My
still
new Pull the
available.
Strings album that just came out, and now I just turned around and announced another EP. Sorry, guys. You could, if you wanted to, you could check out the Signosis single, my other band, my death metal
Mhm.
band. But yeah, that's pretty much everything.
Yeah, I think we got everything.
Hell yeah. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in to another episode of Friendship Simulator with Adrian and I here.
Yeah, buddy.
And we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.
Thank you everyone so much for checking out Dissonant Echoes episode 8 now. all about black metal. And speaking of black metal, we've got plenty of it on the label for you to go discover and enjoy different types. So definitely check out hauntologyrecords.bandcamp.com and see what all we've got to offer for you. To end the episode here today, I'm going to play a track from an artist called I Don't Deserve the Light. This is not on the label, but it's something that Adrian and I both really enjoy and want you all to listen to. So the song name is called Time Stands Still Here. It's really good black metal. It's my favorite black metal release of 2024. So I hope you enjoy that. And then after that, I'll play another track that's new. This one is being released through the label, and it's a band called AOECIST. And it's a dissonant death metal band that uses microtonal elements. The song From Particles to Particles, Not Accept. So enjoy that heaviness as well. Thank you all. See you next time.